Dear Blender user, welcome for this new tutorial. Today we're gonna create something like this, and we will see two main thing with this tutorial. The first thing is how to use different UV map on the same object to affect different texture, but on the same material. And the other thing is how to play with video file texture. Okay, so let's have a quick look on the texture folder. First, I use a texture like this, okay, to create a sort of LED panel that we're gonna tile on the object. Okay, so here is a .jpeg with no alpha channel, but I prefer to use here PNG file with transparent, and every dot are white with a Gaussian blur to have a better simulation of a LED panel. The second texture is image sequence here. Okay, so I've built a texture, okay, an animated texture with some white line moving, okay, and some animated gradient color built with After Effects. But you are not forced to use image sequence. You can use a QuickTime movie or everything you want. Good. Okay, let's have a quick look on the start scene. Okay, I have here a sort of a big donut. Okay, but in fact is a very modern architectural building. Okay, I have two materials. The first material is white. Okay, it's a simple material, and the second material will be the screen. Okay, and I want to map the video texture around this loop, all this material. Okay, I have typical Gaussian shader, okay, because the building is floating on the lake, on the sea, and I have here for the background simple landscape city. The material is very simple, okay, it's a shadeless material. It means that this object is not affected by the light in my scene. Okay, for the if I do the render here, I have here a very well balanced image. Okay, the water is too blue, but I have nice reflection here because it's a simple material with reflection with the mirror. If I just select the material here, you can see that I have reflectivity at 0.4, Fresnel at 2, and then at 1.5. Okay. The only thing I have had is a cloud texture, okay, a cloud texture with a very little size of noise. It affects the BEM value, and the mapping is a UV map, just a project from view, and I just scale the island. Okay, so it's good. And when I have had this, it's just to create some ripple on the surface of the plane to be much more realistic. In this tutorial, we doesn't want to approach the animated noise to create an animated ocean. Okay, but it's possible. I have a bridge here, and I have just had three point light that I have cloned here with specular diffuse, no shadow, and the this color. I have a sun at 0.3, blue, gray shadow, but no soft size, so a very simple light set. For the environment, I choose to check ambient occlusion in multiply mode and environment lighting at 0.3 with white color, and the attenuation distance is at 8 meters. I also have my sequence animated with 100 frame, okay, and just I have a camera here with a target, and the camera just have two key at 0 and at 100 to have just to animate this. Okay, good. So very simple. So what I want to do is to make the motion darker. I have something like this, and I think the image is not bad for the moment. So we're gonna work now. I just put this object because it's on it that I want to work. I need to create the UV layer. So first I need to unwrap my object, and this part of the object, which is this edge, is important to unwrap. So you need to mark the seam. Okay, so I have selected this edge and I press Ctrl E and mark seam. I have the seam marked, so I can unwrap the object now. If you take a look at the island, it's good. I have two islands, but this is not very well aligned, so I need to realign it. So I use Alt, then click on an edge loop, and I select line auto for this, and this, and I will also look for each part of, excuse me, a little bit annoying, but I need to do it to have a good mapped surface. So good, the last one here. Okay, good. Now I just want to add a new image, and I will add a UV grid. Okay, I will have a UV grid because now I want to scale this part. Excuse me, I need to be in highlight selection. This part is not very important because I have the white part of the building, and I don't need to use texture on the first material. But this one is important. So normally you need to arrange the island, and each square need to stay a square if you doesn't want to have a bad surprise with your texture, squeezed texture or something like this. Okay, so I have an abstract video, so if there is some deformation, is not very annoying. So this is good. Okay, now I want to replace here this image by the LED, and I choose the LED 2 like this, and I will scale something like this. Just want to select this island, something like this. Okay, then like this. Okay, good. So this is our first UV layer. Okay, so I have UV map here. The first is LED. Okay, now I will duplicate the UV map. I click here, and I rename this new UV map screen. And with screen, I don't want to use the LED.jpg, but I will select here image, open image. I will select one frame, okay, of the sequence here. So I have something like this, okay, but I doesn't want the screen to be mapped like this. Okay, so I will arrange here, okay, the UV island like this. I think it's good. I can play like this. Okay, I will select like this, and you can move. Okay, so now you have two UV on one object. Good, it's really good. Now let's see how to put texture on the material. The first texture is the LED panel, okay, and it's image texture type, and I will add here LED.jpg. I can show alpha, okay, like this. Very important in the mapping, I can use UV, okay, and I want that the UV map is LED. Okay, so now if I hit render, I have the good UV map. Okay, if I press if I change here and I set screen, it's not the good UV map. Okay, so this is for the LED bar. Okay, this is good for the LED panel. So now I will add a second texture, and this is screen. Screen is also image or movie type of texture. Okay, and I will select texture sequence image, and I press A to select all the frame, and I set open image. Blender look analyze that it is image sequence, so switch single image by image sequence. Okay, I want to click auto refresh and cyclic because I want here. Oh, I don't have the animated texture here. Maybe if I set here image, point image, and I set the whole sequence, maybe it will be work. It not works really good in the viewport, but if I select here a different frame in the timeline, I have here the different frame. Good. So in this texture, I set start at 1. No offset, 100 frame. It's okay. I will use mapping UV. Then I will map screen. Okay. So this is good now. I want to influence color, but now the tweaking is that the LED panel is in fact a stencil, a sort of mask, okay, of the screen texture. So if I check here stencil, I have now a mask. Okay, I also want that LED panel affects the emit value of the texture behind her. Okay, maybe at 2. Okay, to a very brightened texture. So now I have this texture of screen. Okay, the mask is the LED panel, and under I have the material color. Okay, so if I do a render again, I set just a part of render. I have here, okay, the LED, the mask, and the screen. So this is good for the moment. If I take this object and bring back to the first layer, this object, I can say that I have now my screen. Okay, and It's beautiful. Good. Now we want to create this kind of shiny effect. Okay, so I would use the emit pass. So I go in the render layer passes here and I check emit. Now I will go to the node editor, and in the node editor I check backdrop and I press Shift A and I want an output viewer. Okay, I want an output viewer and I set image here and I duplicate this, select it, then Shift and D, and I also want to see the emit. The emit is not visible here because I must re-render the image to calculate the emit pass. Just wait a minute. Okay, pretty good. Close it. Oh, maybe I must. Oh, okay. I have deactivated something. Don't forget to say here compositing in the post-processing. So this is good. I have here the emit pass, okay, and I have here the raw image. Now I will add here Shift A, filter layer, and I want to connect the emit in the image here and the image output layer to the viewer here. Now I will play with the threshold at 0.2 and then with the color at 0.2. Okay, so I have created the shine here. Okay, now I want to blend these two images. Okay, and to blend these two images I need to use with Shift A a color mix box like this, and it looks like Photoshop. Okay, you need to connect here the first the main image. I want to see the output, but I want to connect this here. Okay, and if I click here, add mode, I have this image added on this image. Okay, so you can switch. The node here is not really important. And now you have here the good image. So this is good. Now I have the camera still animated, and that's all. I don't want to start the render now because my computer will be freeze, I'm sure. So I will save my scene, and if you render, we're gonna see it. Just start frame at 1 and frame at 100. To render the sequence, you can just go to the output, and here you go in render. Okay, you're gonna create a new folder. Okay, like test. But then you name it test. Okay, accept. Okay, you can render image sequence and build a movie with another software like Final Cut, After Effects, or something other. You can also build directly a QuickTime. Okay, so everything is possible. And after you render output mode in the scene, Very good. Blender need to have one final node to add the compositing, and you can have the composite windows by pressing Shift A, output, and composite. Okay. Normally the composite windows is here, and you connect the output of this panel to the image panel here, and it will be work. So if I press here animation, I have the frame 1, okay, then I have the compositing, yes, like this, and frame 2, etc, etc, okay, and the frame is in blend test. And I have my frame. Here I have still rendered the whole sequence, and I can show you now. Opening QuickTime. I just want to make like this, and you have something like this. So you have the screen image sequence mapped with the one UV layer and the LED panel as a mask texture, as a stencil texture, to create the LED part. Okay, so this is over. Thank you for watching, and I hope this tutorial will be helpful for you. See you soon. Bye bye.